All right, we'll make a start. Thanks for coming, everyone. I know there's a lot of people here from the rehab unit, a lot of people from organisations and students as well. So thanks for coming. So we're going to start off with, the panel, which is us. We'll do a quick introduction, and if anyone's got any questions along the way, please put your hand up, because we've got like a roaming mic that, you can ask questions while we're chatting, or, you can sort of save it for towards the end as well. My name's Naz. I'm a C6 quadriplegic. I hurt myself diving into shallow water over 30 years ago. So I've been in the chair for a long time, and I think all of us have got really good stories to tell, good and bad. And so we'll do a quick introduction, just a 1 minute introduction about ourselves, when we hurt ourselves, what level of injury we've got, and then we'll go into more detail about, how we found life since rehab, because us guys have been out of rehab for quite a few years. So we'll make a start. I reckon we'll start with Elle up the end there. Elle, welcome. Thanks for coming. So a quick introduction from you to everyone out here.
Beautiful. My name is Ellie, and I'm a T5 paraplegic complete. I hurt myself 3.5 years ago. I actually was in an open vehicle, and a friend was driving, and we fell into a creek, and it actually threw me out. So that is me.
Thanks, Ellie. And beside me, you've got Jack over here.
Morning all, I'm Jack, C45 complete quadriplegic. I hit a wallaby on my motorbike about 7.5 years ago and come through the Talbot, and got the hang of it now. Life's good.
Got the hang of it. Okay, I'm still getting the hang of it. Been more than 30 years, but Rhys, how you going, Rhys? Quick introduction.
Yeah, good mate. So my name's Rhys, T9 complete paraplegic, and my life's pretty chaos and busy. Pretty much everything I did before my accident I've done since my accident. Became a paraplegic in 2016, so I've had 8 years almost to master it, and it's good.
No, thanks, Rhys. And you said busy and chaos as well.
Chaos, yeah, that's how I describe my life.
I reckon your life was like that before your injury as well, because what you'll sort of see from us as well is, life goes on. So if you're silly and chaotic before your injury, and that's going to continue.
Exactly right.
Peter, over to you.
Yeah, I agree to that. Keep being silly and having fun. But my name's Peter. I'm a C45 quadriplegic. Had my injury in 1999. 25 years coming up very soon.
Thanks, Peter. And Sarah?
Hi, I'm Sarah. I am a C5-6 incomplete quadriplegic. I had my accident in 2019, so 5 years ago now, and fell off my bicycle on the dodgy roads of Brunswick. So that's it. That's my story.
I'm Campbell. I'm from Brunswick. They are very dodgy roads. My injury is sort of a little bit irrelevant, because I just growing up in a chair, so I was 2 when I had the injury, but I guess disability isn't about loss for me. It's more about just, the way I've just lived my life and framed what I've done since then. So I'll talk more about that later.
I need to speak a bit louder.
You do.
I'm Sean. I'm similar to Naz, C6 quadriplegic. From a snow skiing accident in 2001. And 2 kids at home, working full time. Having fun.
No, thanks, Sean. And what you'll see too, I mean, a lot of us guys, when we had our injuries, we were quite young, and we were quite busy at the time. But, as I mentioned, life goes on. Sean mentioned he's got a couple of kids, got married after his injury and had a couple of kids, and he's been really busy and active with different projects. Just wanted to mention there's a program here. this is what it looks like. If you want to grab yourself a copy, just list the panel members, bit of information on there. And inside as well, it's got information about what we're going to be doing throughout the day. If you want a copy, it's just near the entrance over there, so please help yourself. And it's got some details about exhibitors that we're going to have in the afternoon. So yeah, have a look at that, and a lot of information in there. So just want to ask a question to the panel. After an injury, we're in rehab for 3 months to over a year, I know it's a place that we don't want to be. A lot of people make the use of it, as in learn as much as they can while they're here. A lot of people, find it tough and sort of with the physios and OTs and all that sort of stuff. So it depends on your mindset at the time. Want to ask you, Ellie, I know you went through here, only about 2 years ago?
Yeah, 3 years. This is actually the first time since I've been back. So I actually went through here in COVID, which was actually cool because life outside stopped, so I didn't miss out on anything. I had time to focus, and I was the first time I got wheeled in here. I got welcome to the madhouse. We've been expecting you, and I knew I was in the right place. So I basically got in that chair and I got out and I did everything. And each week, my calendar on the wall got busier and busier and busier. I'm like, what else can I do? The only thing I didn't do was archery. I didn't get to do archery.
We could probably set you up today because we've got archery as an exhibitor.
I heard a rumour.
Yeah. So after being discharged, I know you were here for a while, but after being discharged, was it a little bit scary, just looking forward to
I was here for
seeing
3
what
months.
you have to do?
I was here for 3 months and 1 day, and I actually live in rural Victoria. So I live in a lovely little town called Yay. I was super lucky to have a ripper community. The person who I actually had the accident with was a builder. So he worked very hard to build ramps, to modify bathrooms. So I actually came home to a really usable space for me. So coming from here, which is definitely set for people with wheels, to then go to the outside world. Being an older town as well, Seymour is like this. So you wheel one way and then you wheel the other way. It's not designed well. Yay is actually kind of friendly. It's not that bad. So I had an amazing support network. I pretty much came home and started working in a job from home, which was not for me because I need people. I like people. Then I've worked in our local Bendigo Bank for a year, and now I'm reception for my exercise physiologist. I have just kept striving to find what fits and what works for me. I'm driving and loving it. I'm like Uber Ellie. So I'm like, where are we going? Do you want me to pick you up? I'll take you or drop you off. Like, I am loving it. So yeah, I kind of got my groove on. I got home and I made it work. So yeah, I'm happy.
No, good. Thanks, Ellie. You mentioned driving as well. Later in the afternoon, we're going to have some vehicles out there in the car park, so you can have a look at, some sedans, wagons, some vans, and just sort of see the different options out there. Just on rehab as well, just want to see if anyone can talk about their time in rehab, although in rehab, if you push back, because, like I said, it's not a great place. We're not here by choice. But did you make the most of it, or were there times where you were just feeling so low that you didn't want to take part in any of the activities or the therapy? And how did you come get on top of that? Go, Rhys, yeah?
I was pretty fortunate actually when I came into rehabilitation, because my biggest struggle I had was I wouldn't be able to walk my daughters down the aisle. I've got 4 of them. And I thought to myself, you know what, stuff it, I can roll. And by changing that mindset, everything sort of went to no such thing as can't, just how. I think I've written here a couple of articles for that too. So my mindset of that was a bit different, but I utilised Nazim, Campbell was a big asset for me too, and the staff here to really just network and work out what's the best way for me to get on with life. And I think Campbell and I went up the stairs there near the elevator there at one stage, didn't we? So that was a bit interesting. But yeah, so mine's a bit of a positive one. I didn't have too many issues. My biggest issues was I'm not being able to walk my daughters down the aisle, so that was pretty hard for me actually. But as soon as I shifted gears, it was okay.
Yeah, so you're pretty positive going through, which is good. What about anyone else? Yeah, Jack?
Yeah, I come through here 7.5 years ago, and I remember sitting over in 3 North thinking, I've got to get to Royal Talbot. I'll do my 6 months rehab and walk out of there. And I got over here, and a couple of weeks into it, I realised I wasn't going to be one of them ones that did walk again. But I also thought, let's see what I can do, see how good I can get my arms, because my legs weren't going to work. And yeah, I spent as much time as I could just working on my arms. And yeah, then got back home to my community in Dalesford and do what you can with what you got, I reckon.
Yeah, when it's really important, to do all your therapy while you're here, to get strong again, because it's a place to be. Because when you're left to your own devices after discharge, depends on how motivated you are if you continue with that stuff or not.
Yeah.
Sarah, I just want to ask you how your time was in rehab, because now you are incomplete, so it would have been different, and you probably would have had a different mindset to what some of the other guys have had. So what was it like for you going through rehab? And
Yeah, I think we all have such different experiences, and being a walker in rehab, I found quite isolating. It was hard because not many people recover to that degree at that time in rehab. The tear in my spinal cord is just very small and very neat, hence why I did recover and get some leg function and hand function back. So it was a little isolating, and I think I was just so focused on getting back to life as I knew it. So I did not want to engage with sort of any peer support. I wasn't open to it. I was sort of just stuck in my lane and focused on rehabbing. And then when I left rehab, life wasn't as I knew it. Obviously, we all experienced the transition going home in different ways, but for me, I struggled. And then I finally reached out and got involved in volunteering with peer support. And I was like, I just feel like finally ready to connect in with my people and link in with community. And then I'm now working at AQA, and we support people with spinal cord injuries and other physical complex disabilities, and it has been life-changing. When you can just have those discussions like, oh, how are your bowels today? Oh, I've had a rough morning. And you just know what other people are talking about, even though we're still having different experiences. It's been really helpful for me. But I just wasn't ready when I was here. So if you're feeling similar, I hope that day may come. And if it does, definitely embrace it. The community support has been really good.
No, thanks, Sarah. So I guess, everyone's got a different mindset. A lot of people, there's a lot of supports and resources at the Royal Talbot, or even once you're discharged, but people aren't always ready to put their hand up and make use of those resources. You mentioned peer support. A lot of people want to sort of do it on their own because, they just don't want to confront sort of the reality. So people need time to sort of reach out and ask for their help and get other ideas from people. Just wanted to throw to Peter or Sean, what's your thoughts like when you guys were going through, did you make use of the different programs in the unit, when it came to peer support? Because not everyone's ready. People need time to sort of work out where they are at the time.
Probably not originally for me. I was a C4 5 point. I did make a lot of movement, and that took a long time to come on. And it was hard for me to imagine what my future would be like as a C4 5 pod, because I've never been there before. So to have people around me who may have been there before or could talk to, sort of gave me a bit of direction, and also listening to the staff here to sort of help guide me in a direction that, you know, unfold who I could be or my potential, and slowly you sort of build on that and end up going in the direction that suits you and your lifestyle and what that may be for you. But initially that's a bit difficult because you can't see that, but put your trust in people around you and use the resources that are here available to you.
I don't remember meeting a really happy person in rehab. There were so many emotions coming here. I spent 4 weeks in Sydney on my back, didn't have an operation, waiting for my bone to heal, and I came back to Melbourne, had operation, and spent 2 weeks in Austin, then came here. And coming here for the first time was almost like best day of my life, almost, just because everyone was talking about the Royal Talbot. It was the best place to be in Australia. And I was lucky enough to be here with a really good group of people. And at the time, we kind of felt like we changed the way a few things were done here. Like, we didn't want to get up at 10, 11 o'clock at night, in the morning. We all were trying to get the staff to get us up at 7 and 8. And we were banging on the door of the gym, and they wouldn't open till 9. Right. But there's the group of us. We all did as much as we could to do as much as we could while we were here. But we didn't know anything. There was tears every night. You know, close the doors and the lights go out. Bad thoughts, and I think they stayed for 2 years. And whilst I was going through and being active and seeing a lot of people come to the gym and do their training and that sort of thing, it kind of gave you a different perspective of what could be possible. I tried to surround myself with people that were similar to myself or better, like Naz and a few of the other guys who were doing the rugby. And I still remember when I couldn't push up out of my room up the carpet up the hallway, and the strength that took to just do that and then move on and be able to push up the ramp up to the second level. There's all these different little milestones. I don't remember ever talking to people much about their emotions, but you could still see and hear what was going on. I went through an awful time with my family and my partner's family, and I reckon that kept me in here for another couple of months. Kind of took my mind off it though, because I was dealing more with that than I was my own injury. But I remember doing all the rehab, doing the physio, doing the OT, screwing the little nut onto the screw, putting marbles in a little hole. But I quickly learnt when I went home that rehab doesn't start till you get home. And it was a day that I pulled a basket of cutlery out of the dishwasher and emptied it on my lap and tried not to cut myself, put the steak knives in the drawer. And I still remember saying, this is OT. Like, it's everyday stuff, you know. So I was grateful for the people that I was with here and learning off them and seeing what was possible, and being the best I could be and being surrounded by the people who were similar and learning as much as I could off them. And then going home, and then it all starts again. So.
Great, thanks, Sean. Yeah, it's just seeing everything that you do as continuous rehab, you know. I think that's a good mindset to have, you know, because it doesn't stop. You're always sort of learning and improving. I want to ask a question to Campbell. Campbell, you've done a lot over the years, and, you know, just want to, if you can speak to us a little bit about, you know, returning back to school, like getting an education where you can find the job that you want, you know, and not just go with the flow. So how is that for you? I mean, when you're looking for a job, for example, or study or education, what sort of stuff did you look out for? And, yeah, where'd you end up going?
Yeah, thank you. It's a good question, and I just like to go back a bit. You know, I had an injury when I was 2, so just growing up in with a disability has been kind of odd because I never actually thought I had a disability, because that idea of being disabled was really weird. And why would you identify it when, you know, everyone in the media is saying disability is crap? And, you know, the reality is it's a mixture. So I guess growing up for me was about trying to untangle those myths about what it is and isn't. Because on one side, I could have just pretended to be a disabled person and not done anything. I could have sat at home and, you know, internalised this media representation that my life is over. Luckily, I had parents that didn't let me do that. So, you know, I went to uni, you know, now I've, you know, worked in a bunch of different places. But I think what it sort of told me is when I worked here for many years as well, and one of the things that's really been interesting is when people come in here, they have that information about what it means to be disabled, whether you want it to, whether you know it or not. So the amount of conversations I had with people who would say, oh yeah, I know everything about being in a chair, you know, I've got a new disability, I know everything. And then 2 weeks later they'd go, oh, but I can't drive now, life's over. And you go, well, no, you know, let's explore that a bit more. So people don't know what they don't know. What I would challenge people to think about though is what is normal before may be normal again later, but this is a transition period. So the grief and loss that you're feeling now, that's not going to last forever. Unfortunately, rehab, the intensity of rehab happens to you about what doesn't work. So a lot of the stuff happening here is highlighting what doesn't work. Whereas when you go back out and find what's important to you, the things you love, whether it's school, uni, relationships, that stuff's going to be the stuff that helps you define who you are again. So, yeah, I'm going to stop rambling.
I always used to say, if you can't, you can still do what you were doing before, you just do it different. And if you can't do exactly what you were doing before, surround yourself with the people who are doing it. I went straight back up to the snow after my accident and spent 25 days skiing, but it slowly got less and less. But for me, I had just as much fun sitting in the bar, waiting for everybody to come back in and hear the stories and talk to them, because I still knew all the equipment, I still knew all the runs, I still knew what the snow was like. I still knew all that stuff. But being around the people who were still talking about it and still doing it that wasn't a problem for me. That was how I kind of got back to doing what I wanted to do and be active again. Yeah.
Oh, great. Thanks, Sean. Just further on that as well, Ellie, you got back to work. I'm not sure if you returned to the same workplace that you were before, or was it a different workplace, but you got back into it pretty quickly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where I was working previous, my boss actually worked with me all the way through rehab, and I realised early on that probably 75% of the job I was doing before I could actually return to. But the more it went on, I was having a lot of issues with my bowels. I was having a lot of issues with fatigue. So I'm like, okay, hang on a sec. I don't think this is going to work. So then I have a mortgage. I had to go back to work in some way, shape or form. So I dipped a toe. As I said, I'm now on my third job in 3 years. This is my one I'm staying in that I do now. I absolutely love it. It completes me. It makes me feel that person that I was pre-accident, very capable, happy. I'm loving being with people, and I'm actually in a job where I work for my exercise physiologist. So I see a lot of people from TAC, NDIS, work cover, all sorts of applications, Medicare, who come in and want to improve themselves. I just want to say too that prior to my accident, gym was the name of a person, not a place that I ever went into. So it's been a little bit of a shock to go, oh, diet and exercise, that's a thing. Okay, all right, we're on this. But what it's helped me do is go back to doing everything that I used to do. And you're right, just a little bit differently. You can do it, it's just a little bit different and a little bit slower, I'll be honest. But yeah, I'm improving every day. So yeah, you will surprise yourself at actually what you're capable of. Don't be frightened. Yeah.
Oh, thanks for that. Just wondering if there's any questions at the moment before we go on. No? All right, I've got one at the back there.
Jack, I just wanted to talk to living in the regional area and setting up your care and some of the challenges you have about with that.
Yeah, I live up near Dalston, Central Victoria. When I left the Talbot, I'd set up with one care company to do my care, and they had up to 12 hours a day of care to get me out in the morning and look after me through the day and put me back to bed, so there's a fair bit in it. But I sort of found you've got to find use a few different care companies, and I've got onto a few private care people too. They're your whole world. My carers are basically your whole world. Find good ones, poach them from wherever you can, and look after the good ones. Is my bit of advice. They make your world easy. Find easy going ones. But yeah, you sort of just got to work with the care company to see what you can find in the area. Up our way, they're pretty scarce. I have carers that some travel nearly an hour, but if you give them enough hours, it's worthwhile. I think the main bit of advice is, look after the good ones. They are your world, and they're your best friends and your best help you can get.
Very good, thanks, Jack. We can talk more about support workers, but support workers are something that really helps make life easier for everyone. You know, a lot of people want to be as independent as they can be, but it's really important to make life as easy as possible for yourself. So no matter what, you know, that could be daily living or social support, or just going out and relate to work and study and all that sort of stuff. I want to go over to Peter. And Peter, I just want to ask you about your hobbies, because not everything is returning back to school or returning back to work, and hobbies are really important. And I want to hear specifically about your love of cars, Peter, because that's something I love as well.
Yeah, hobbies are something I really encourage people to get into. It might be hard to think how you may do that, or because you'll think of the way you used to do it. But I challenge you to build people around you that can help you do that. And so for me, it was classic cars. I really like classic cars and getting involved and chasing parts and restoring them. So, and of course I couldn't do that, but I got a lot of mates that do, and then I found that a lot of my carers love doing it, and just built up that network. We sort of, over time, put a car club together with a lot of friends and some of the carers, and started building cars and just having a good time, having a laugh, being in the shed, listening to radio and enjoying our time together and helping each other out. So I really encourage you to embark on hobbies, and some will be new, some will be old, whatever they might be, but hobbies are good old-fashioned fun.
So I thought someone was going to make a comment, but you've had, last count, you had like 15 cars that you sort of done and bought and sold.
Yeah, that hobby turned more into a business towards the end. That's at one stage. So we got fairly serious at it and turned over a fair amount of cars. Probably about, I think we counted about 80 or 90 cars over 5 years. Which was maybe a bit of money on the side and a lot of enjoyment. But I don't do it as much as I did. I still always have a bit of a project going on with a car. A bit of a secret there, Naz.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Peter. This afternoon too, we're going to have like what is called a Can-Am. So it's a three-wheeled motorbike, like a high-performance motorbike. So very unusual. But we're going to have that on display a little bit later. So come and check it out. Yeah. It's not mine. I wish it was mine, but Jack, I want to move on to something else like camping. I know you love your outdoors and camping, and also just fitness-wise. I know you do different activities just to work on your fitness, and all this sort of stuff too. Everyone wants to be fit as possible. They want to be independent as possible, but things don't happen quickly for a lot of people. But it's something that if you work on long enough, it just gets easier, and you do get fitter, and you can work on your quality of life. It doesn't happen straight away, but as long as you work on it, I think all that sort of stuff gets easier and better.
Yeah, when I left here, I didn't work on my fitness for a fair few years, and I just sort of got back to enjoying life, spending too much time at the pub, and managed to put on nearly 20 kilos since I left here. But in the last sort of probably 12 months, a bit more, I've started to think I've got to turn this around. So I spend too much time in my power chair just because it's easy, and I can drive in it. I can't drive in my manual chair. So I've gone back to doing as much pushing as I can in my manual chair, and spend a bit more time on my arm cycle, bloody bike. And I got go up to Echuca with the wheelchair rugby crew up there once a month to have a push around the play afternoon. And just, you can tell, the more time I spend in my manual chair, the stronger these bloody arms get. Even though they're still weak, they are better and better. The more you do, the better they get and the better you feel for it. But by not looking after myself for probably 5 or 6 years, it's a fair way back. So my best suggestion would be do as much exercise as you can the whole way through and look after yourself as well as you can.
Great, thanks, Jack. I've got a question from the audience.
Sorry, I'm yelling. So I was going to ask you, Ellie, about the dance and roll program, because that's a fitness thing, and how you found that with all us lovely people.
So Josh Hose rang me, and I was 6 weeks out of rehab, and I was literally counting birds and reading books. I had no therapies at that point. Life had stopped. I was just saying, drink and eat, and very quickly went, that's probably not a good thing. So Josh rang me and he said, Ellie, I've got an online group with all women, just wondering if you want to pop on. So I got onto the link and I met Rocker and the ladies, and from there they're like, hey, we do dance and roll. It's an online thing. I'm in rural, so there's not a lot of opportunity. We didn't even have a gym. So I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be great. I've never danced in my life. My partner calls it flailing arm class, but it works for me. I shut the blind now. So it has been an absolute godsend for me. And I encourage you guys to get online. There is so much webinars, seminars, there is so much out there. And I was just eating it all up, whatever I could get onto, whatever I could learn, staying away from home, doing exercise, like everything. It is just so much out there. But dance and roll is my family. It has been my Monday night. I have a big day at work. I get home and I just get my groove on. It has been incredible for social, for community, for connecting with other people. Even though I saw these ladies from here up for how many years? 2 years, and I finally met them at a gala night, not last October, the one before, and my God, was that emotional. And I love them all to this day, and I'm so grateful for finding them. So I encourage you guys to reach out there and just have a look and see online. Find what fills your cup, and get moving. Move.
No, thanks, Ellie. You mentioned connecting and community. I think that's really important. There's, if you don't like dance and roll, there's lots of communities and networks you can be. I can see Karen shaking her head. Why would you not like dance and roll? But there's different communities and networks you can be involved in. If you want to know more about that, come and speak to us later or come to AQA and ask us, because we've got lots of information. We can connect you with lots of activities and organisations, and even into some of our own programs like Wheelchair Skills and Staying Away from Home program. And yeah, there's a whole lot to mention. Outdoors and activities, Campbell. I want to ask you about some of the extreme stuff, or probably not extreme if I ask you, but hand cycling, outdoors camping and all that sort of stuff, because a lot of people would think, they can't go off a concrete footpath. Do you want to talk about some of the hand cycling that you do off-road and even camping, because, if you were into camping and outdoors before, we can hear from Campbell, what that looks like.
Yeah, sure. No, it's awesome fun, and I think anyone who has done it before, get back into it, but anyone who hasn't, give it a go. So I spent many years trying to do things by myself and independently, and it worked for a bit, but then I realised if you bring other people in, it actually works way better and it's more fun. So I bought myself a while ago an off-road hand cycle, and this thing's the best thing. It's so cool. And it just, it gets you out to places that you would never normally get out on. And I put a little trailer on the back to carry my wheelchair, and we went, it was a while ago now, but we did an overnight trip to Wilson's Prom, to Tidal River, and did a hike, through the wilderness, and it was so cool, but I was completely underprepared. So luckily I had two people with me, and the poor things ended up having to, pull this rotten bike with my hand cycle with my chair on the back, up hills and through rivers, but it was so cool and fun. And I think a sign of success is when the staff look at you like, what the hell are you doing? We succeeded there. So yeah, look, there's a ton of gear. There's some over there. It's worth having a look at later. And yeah, just getting into green space is so important for your soul. Whether you're on concrete or whether you're just, you can get off a bit more further. It's just so good for you. So I'd super encourage any of that. And and you can double up on things that are good for your soul. You can go out into the green space, and you can even dance out there as well, I'm assuming. So so no, it's awesome fun. And also, the other thing is it's really worth challenging how far you think you can go, because I'm still challenging what I think I can do. And sometimes you end up in a heap on the floor, but other times you end up at the bottom of the hill in an awesome spot going, oh, wow, that was cool. So, just that challenge is super exciting still. Now I'm 30.
Good, thanks, Campbell. So in the exhibitors, we're going to be able to see different organisations and different equipment that you could use. We're going to have Parks Victoria here as well. So if you want information about accessible parks and different activities you can do in the great outdoors, you can find out more about that. Sarah, I know you love your bushwalking and stuff like that. I want to ask, was that something that you had a love for before, or did you get into it later on? And how do you navigate or find accessible areas to go?
Yeah, before my accident, bushwalking, hiking wasn't something I did heaps of. I ran a lot, so ran long distance running. So obviously, because I couldn't do that anymore, wanted to challenge myself and get out. I definitely can't go super far. I think the furthest I've gone is 7.5 Ks, and that was a big struggle and definitely needed support. But still up for challenging that when on my good days. But there's so much equipment out there and so many resources, especially Parks Vic is a particularly good one, to give you information before going to a particular site on the accessibility of that space. And on the panel with Parks Vic, they've got a disability inclusion panel giving them feedback on their projects at the moment, and there's some really, really cool stuff happening in pretty common areas that are accessible via all types of transport as well. So that's exciting. But yeah, as Campbell said, getting out in the nature-based activities are just so good for the soul and can encourage that. Even just on my harder days, I just go to a park and do my stretches in the park instead of at home, and that makes a big difference. So, yeah, make that a focus if you can when you're feeling up to it.
Thanks, Sarah. Rhys, I've seen a couple of photos of you. One is on the beach with a wheelchair called Zoom, I think.
Zoom, yep.
And another photo, I saw you in the middle of a river, and in water, like halfway up your body,
That's it.
and doing something silly like fishing.
Yeah, it's fun.
So, yeah, tell us about that. I mean, that's really unusual.
So that all comes back to the beginning with peer support. I remember sitting there one day and I remember you coming through my door saying, would you like to do peer support? And I'm like, oh, no, don't really do much for me. I think I want to know about going fishing, I want to know about camping, and I want to know about getting back to shooting. I think Peter actually said to me, I know a bloke who does that. And you said, I know a person that does that, and so on and so on. Next thing you know, I was talking to people in wheelchairs that were doing things that I wanted to do. And I was like, cool, this is really good actually. So I commend you guys for all that. But from there, we organised with GMS to get a hire of a Zoom, which I absolutely trashed, the poor little thing. And
So what is a Zoom?
A Zoom ability
It's
scooter.
not-
So it's an all-wheel drive wheelchair. It has articulated suspension, so it crawls up and over things. It's got a staggered wheel base, so you can ride upstairs pretty much as long as you've got a 600mm footprint, so both rows of tyres can sit there. But yeah, so within about 3 weeks of being home, actually they brought it here and I burned around all the grasses and all that sort of stuff, and everyone was going white. They go, what's he doing? Yeah, so 3 weeks after being home, we were on the beach flying out shark lines with a drone and burning around, which was absolutely amazing when you think about it. And that was just due to the networking that you can do within this room, pretty much. So after that, I've always been pretty adventurous. I had my accident at work. I fell off a truck at work loading roof trusses. And yeah, so pretty much went straight back to work, getting back involved with those challenges, and tried to push myself more towards living life rather than working, because I've done probably everything I did before my accident since my accident. I've also been very busy, been lots of places, and probably the main thing that I would put out there is the world's not made for wheelchairs, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. You just got to have a think about it. Like Sean said, just work out how to do it. Think about how, not think I can't. And you'll be surprised how many different pathways you can do to do things like, I was saying, fishing in the river. Sitting there, I'm thinking I wouldn't mind doing a bit of fly fishing in the river. Had all the kids camping, and I said to them, how about you get down there and lay a whole heap of rocks so I can have a ramp into the river.
So we're not talking about on the river, in
the
actual
river. Yeah, I had the water up over my lap, and yeah, the kids made me a ramp and just monoed down into the river, found a spot where I liked it and just sat there flicking, which was pretty cool. And dogs are swimming, the kids are swimming.
Did you catch
It's just
anything?
been a massive thing of mine.
Did you catch anything?
No, I didn't, because there's too many dogs and kids. But I was doing the activities, that was very good. But there's not much I haven't done since. At the moment, we're in a workplace at the moment where we're building 3 disability lines in timber industry. So we're doing engineered flooring. There's one for Autolam, which makes the panels they sell in Bunnings. These machines are currently getting modified so that people in wheelchairs can operate them, which is amazing when you think about it. Like, you think about where we're at in the world now as far as wheelchairs go, and it's just getting better and better and better, because people are thinking about, why don't we get people working in industries, which is cool. Another thing, yeah, we're doing the Shitbox Rally in October. I don't know if anybody's heard about the Shitbox Rally, but anyway, you're going to buy a car for under $1,500 and you drive across Australia in it. There's 500 people, 250 cars, and you go in groups of 7 cars. And so there's heaps of people around to help you, and they're absolutely amazingly how accommodating they are. So, but yeah, so we kick off from Bendigo in October 18th, and we stop in Townsville on the 26th of October. So and you go all through the central. As the cars break down, you like that, they pick up the cars on trailers and they take them to where we're camping, and they push them up on their sides, take the parts out, fix them, put them back in. If they can't fix them, put them back in, you throw them in the next car that's broken, and you just keep limping the whole way across Australia. So, and again, very accommodating for wheelchairs. Lots of wheelies have done it. The people out there are amazing. Yeah. So you just got to find the path you want to do and think about how you can do it, and then get after it, is my advice.
Thanks, Rhys. Just wondering if there's any other questions.
Good question.
How you doing?
Thank you. Naz is a bit of an odd question, but with the shortage of public housing at the moment, and they're building houses, are they taking into account that the houses that they're building are accessible and made appropriate, no matter whether you're able or disabled? Is any mission being established to make sure Department of Housing, Victorian Government, disability groups are putting their word in to make sure that the housing is being designed for all bodies?
Well, this was a hot topic only a couple of weeks ago, I think. I don't know what they call it, but it's called universal design, and they're trying to regulate it so all new housing is built in the universal design standard, where if a house needs to be modified, a lot of the hard work is already done. So it's got water, hallways, for example, bathrooms that are open. I'm not sure if anyone's got more information on that. Campbell?
Yeah, there's a residential building code that's been accepted by like 3 states, I think, and Queensland's trying to get out of it, and New South Wales were trying to get out of it, but Victoria signed up to a higher level of residential building code, so these features are going to be in all new developments or new buildings. Yeah, which sounds really exciting. It's a great question.
And it was really funny because there was a lot of pushback on it as well. I don't know why. I mean, it's sort of silly that you'd have pushback against something like that that makes life easier, or down the track, having properties that's going to be beneficial for everyone. So, it's not what people think, and I think that was the issue. People didn't know what it meant. And Rhys, you were going to add?
Oh, no, it's just on the universal design thing. It's a good point. Like, one of I think probably one of the biggest things I found that made me feel more able was knowing that the ramp is not just for me, the disabled guy, it's actually for everyone. So universal design, that's for people, who have parents with prams, people who have got, broken legs, or even situational impairments, as they call them, like, if you're drunk, or if you're feeling a bit wobbly today, which, yeah. So that whole universal design thing is huge, and I think most governments are starting to kind of work out that it's not just about disabled people.
Thanks, Campbell. We're going to add to that, Rhys?
Driving at the moment, anyway. So for the last 8 years before I moved on to this other job, probably actually longer than that beforehand, designing houses and floor layouts and walls and trusses and all that sort of stuff for so long. Towards when I left working in the truss company, a lot of our houses that we were designing and building all had 920 doors. Most of them would have ramps, and all external doors were about 1 metre. And that was almost genetic across most of the builds that we were doing. So the world is definitely changing, leaning towards more accessibility. Like I said, even with the factory I'm working in now, like, they don't have to build lines for people with disabilities, but they're like, hey, why not? So it's pretty cool the way things are going now.
Yeah, great. Any other questions?
Hello, everybody. I sound weird. I was wondering about, for those that like camping and outdoors, and if you do have an issue with stabilizing your body temperature, what do you do about it besides, keeping thermals on and maybe keeping track of how your temperature on your face is as an indicator. What are some suggestions? Thank you.
It's a great question. We'll talk more on different issues around health as well, but you know, a lot of people that have got a spinal cord injury, their temperature regulation is all over the place. You get cold pretty quick, and you know, you get hypothermic before you know that you're feeling cold, and vice versa too. You know, you'll get a heat stroke before you realise you're getting overheated. So, any comments about that? How do you regulate your heat? You know, if you're going outdoors into the cold, how do you stay warm?
A lot of times when I go up the bush or whatever, I just have a lot of thermals, as you say. But a lot of it's just getting active. You think about yourself when you're cold, you're getting moving, you know. Same deal, throw a couple of lightning bolts in, stretch it out, have a bit of a wheel around, try and keep yourself busy. Most times when I sleep my swags are generally really warm. Like even when it's cold, your body heat makes them really warm because they've got a heavy canvas in them. And I find you put your sheepskins underneath you. So you're stopping that ground temperature coming up into your bedding. And if you do those sort of things, keep yourself in good condition and moving. The cold's pretty good. But the problem is when you get into the warmer months and stuff like that, I generally just have a portable fan with a battery in it, a big Ryobi one or Milwaukee, whatever you want to call it, and you just spray water at it and it cools you down generally when you're in the middle of nowhere. Either that'll get in the car, do a bit of aircon, cool your temperatures down. Because a lot of the times, as Nas said, by the time you feel hot, it's too late. So you've got to work towards regulation from the start of the day. Just keep it in mind.
Hello. Different too, because like I always found that I was warmer with less clothes on and a beanie than I was fully dressed or with thermals or anything else on in a sleep bag. That was just me. But when you're out and about, the killer for me, my legs just get freezing. But the killer is wind. If you can just have windproof pants, then that saves me when it is windy and cold. Going up the snow and all that sort of thing, I had a windproof like sleeping bag that I got made. It was Gore-Tex, but in the snow it was freezing cold. It was blowing a blizzard, and I just have jeans and sneakers on underneath that, and I was toasty warm. So yeah. Just preparing for the conditions, I think, and try different things.
The other thing is, in terms of the coming off, the other thing to worry about is if you smell sausages and there's nothing on the barbecue.
Been saying that for years.
So we've talked about a lot of good stuff, and I want to touch on, you know, some of the health management stuff, you know, some, not called bad stuff, but, you know, things like spasm, pain, pressure sores, different types of infections. I know, you know, don't want to scare anyone. You know, this isn't something that happens on a regular basis, but, you know, people can get pressure sores or be stuck in bed, have pain issues where it stops them from doing what they want to do, or even, you know, things like really bad spasms. So, just want to throw this out there to anyone that they're dealing with now, or they've dealt with and they've been able to find a solution to manage. Because if you've got a pressure sore, you've got to do the right thing, you know, and don't stay on it, because instead of staying 2 days off it, it could be staying, you know, you're forced to end up going to hospital and being stuck in bed for 2-3 months. So, yeah, just want to ask a general question to anyone that wants to speak about that. Ellie?
When I got home in the June, and on New Year's Eve of that first year home, I called an ambulance and went to emergency because I couldn't move more than couldn't move, and I had no idea what was going on. They did every test under the sun. And eventually I said to the nurse, she said, Ellie, we don't know what's wrong. And I went, can I ask a really odd question? Can you look in my bum? And she's like, okay. It was a raging case of hemorrhoids, and I had no idea. So I'm still fighting them now. It's 3.5 years down the track. I still have no solution. I've had them banded twice. It's not changing. I'm going to get a second opinion actually next week from another guy. I think the thing is to be persistent. I did have a little pressure sore on my ankle. I didn't realise until I slid my leg on the bed, moving my leg, and there was a bit of blood. And I went, oh, okay. Funnily enough, I was coming to an AQA transfer day, and the OT went, can you just have a look at that? She said, okay, this is like a grade 2 pressure sore. So same thing again. It was just, I must have knocked it at some point. I had no idea. So be very vigilant on yourself. Be very aware of yourself. I know it was drummed into us here, pressure sores, pressure care, pressure that. That was my only one. I've been quite good with myself. But yeah, for me, it's hemorrhoids. I'm struggling to find the solution. Having never had them before, I don't know. I've lost weight. I do pressure care. I'm not sure what the answer is, but I'm not giving up. My spasms are very kind. I have quite gentle ones, so they usually do it when I want them to, which is good. Pain, I am on some medications, but I decided to not be on a lot because you still need to feel. I don't think numbing yourself is the answer. I think you still need to have some idea. So on the inside of me, I feel quite a lot, and I like that because I have an idea of what I need to tweak or what I need to do, or yeah. So just be vigilant, be very, very aware of yourself. I've never known myself as well as I do now, but it's a good thing because you can get on top of things quite quickly. So yeah, be vigilant.
Better, pressure sores. Yeah, just be really vigilant. I've been lucky over 25 years. I've only really had one incident, but I've known a lot of people that had a lot of trouble with pressure sores. But my trick is just to get my carers to look after my skin and really check my skin every day. And if you do get a pressure sore or a red mark, always look for the reason why that's occurring. It might be your shoes too tight or your cushion not inflated enough, or always really try and find a solution and a reason, and put practicality towards it.
Can you talk about sitting on bar stools?
Just repeat that.
Certainly.
What was the question,
I think me and Sean are reliving old memories here. It's obviously really good to, it's not really good. You should expect to get back to life and challenge yourself. But, you learn as you go. And I think Sean's talking about, I had a period of having a favourite local pub, which was so good for my social life and my friends. And but I did spend a bit of time getting off my chair onto the stool so I could sit at the bar. And I did end up with a huge pressure sore from that. So, and I've probably had 2 or 3 really bad pressure sores. I'm a low paraplegic. I've got no spasm. So I guess, what comes with that is really low muscle tone and not much fat down there. So yeah, I spent probably 6 or 7 months in the Austin, and it was shit. So yeah, the beer was great, but I wouldn't do it again.
But in saying that too, being as active as you can be and moving around as much as you can creates more circulation, and it's going to save you as well. So.
Well, now as if I don't know if we want to go down this path, but do you look after your shoulders by not doing too much, or do you build them up by doing lots? And there's a balance there somewhere, but I'm not sure that not doing anything is the solution there.
No, you're right. It is a catch-22, but you've got to find that balance. That sort of sweet spot where if you want to stay fit, you stay fit and active, but then you've got to worry about doing too much as well, because long term that could cause issues as well. Any other health issues that we've had that we've overcome. I've got a question at the back.
Yeah, I've got an answer to the hemorrhoids. I've still got one left, and I've been waiting for the last 10 years to have the last one surgically removed, and I'm still waiting. So yes, they can be surgically removed.
Okay, thanks for that. So, sorry, what was that?
No, I was just going to say, because the surgeon that I was with originally, he's like, well, the next step is surgery, and in your condition, I don't really want to do surgery. Okay, let's go with plan B then. Go find another bum dude. Because, yeah, I'm like, I'm a little concerned too, and the surgery side of things, I'm concerned will set me back. And I understand that that's going to happen at some point. So I'm being very selective of what I choose to do surgically. So I'm going to get another opinion and see if there's another option, but that's definitely an option. But yeah, apparently the first one doesn't want to do it.
I was saying, this is before I fell out of a tree. So I've now got a broken back, so my situation might be completely different.
Yeah, good. Thanks for that. Any other questions?
Okay, so I know you guys discussed a lot about your health issues, but I was wondering on the personal level, in terms of your relationships, and after you've experienced at first your injury, there was a lot of grief for you to refine yourself individually, but I'm wondering how it was in terms of your closer relationships. How did you see your relationships from that point onwards? Not just refining yourself, but, you know, it wasn't just a grief and loss for you. Mostly it was for you, of course. But how was it for your families, and how did that affect you directly? Thank you.
Did everyone hear that? So, I guess it's around relationship, maintaining relationships, that when you hurt yourself, or even finding new relationships, or, you know, relationships with family and friends. Rhys?
Yeah, so when I first went home, my whole focus was just on rehabilitation, getting back doing things I want, battle and work cover at TAC to get the things that I should be entitled to, and you sort of neglect the family life of it because you've got tunnel vision. And I almost lost my partner. We had a rocky road there for quite a while, and it was due to all the focus just being on rehabilitation, houses, fixing things, and that was it. And you sort of lose track of the relationship. And thank God we got back on track. Everything's happy days for a long time now. But I do stress when I get this conversation, you've got to look after the people that are for you more than trying to just focus on the rehabilitation, because it's a lot bloody harder without it. So.
Can I just say one thing I noticed after the fact was that everyone comes in to see and they want to know how you're doing, but no one ever asked how my family was. And that was a big thing I learned after I left, and it's probably one thing that I try to do now mostly is you see somebody for the first time and you say, how are you going? How are you coping in that? But then you look at the mother or father, and then the next question is to them, how are you going? And usually there's a breakdown because no one ever asks. It is really important to look after the people around you too.
You know, that's definitely a great point. I just wanted to mention that a lot of supports are available for the actual person with the spinal cord injury, but there's not that much for family and friends of people with spinal cord injury. knowing that to probably just over for 10 years, AQA along with Independence Australia run a monthly peer support program for people, family and friends of people with spinal cord injury. So, if you've got family and friends that you think might do with supports and talking to other people that are in a similar situation, either, just get in touch with AQA or Independence Australia. So we're here today too, so just keep that in mind.
Can I just add something else too? I think to answer your question with like personal relationships and partners and that sort of thing, everyone's different, and there's some amazing couples that stay together through the whole process. When I was coming through, I was with my partner for 9 months, and we just moved in 2 weeks before I had my accident, and our families, the whole time we were in hospital, and we were told that it was like 80 or 85% of relationships fail. And we met so many couples that had, and I'd never really said it, but my partner always said, it's not going to be one of us. Like, we're not going to be part of that statistic. So it took probably 4 years, but then for us it was more about getting out what we used to do, because we were really active, and she thought like that she could still do that, but she couldn't do it with me, and I kind of felt like I just need to let you go. And it wasn't until our relationship broke up that I took off as well, and kind of got to my own way of doing things by myself. And I think it's not until you are by yourself that you work out how to go. You spend, it's different situations for different people. And then, 12 months later I met someone else doing the stuff I love doing, and that was camping, and she was doing it at the same time. And we were sitting around and robbed it. So there's no answer to how relationships work. It's just the couple, and it's hard, but sometimes starting again is just as good as trying to battle. So
also with your friends, you know what I mean? Like, your friends come around and you're like, oh, here, can you do that? Oh, here, can you do this? And oh, that. And it's almost like every time they come and see you, you put them to work. And I sort of found I don't want to lose my relationships with my good friends. So you had to just hold back and say, right, let's sit down, have a beer or have a chat, watch a movie, whatever, rather than saying, while you're here, can you get that over there? And while you're here, can you nail that off? Or, you know what I mean? Like, it was just got to a point where I was almost utilising my friends as just like fix-it people, which didn't ruin friendships, but I could see it was trying, if that makes sense. You know, they want to help as much as possible, but at the same time, they want to come around and socialise, not work. So I found spending more time committing with your friends to having a bit of fun, opposed to, and I still ask them to do things, don't get me wrong, but not as much as I did in the beginning. I think that's a big balance you got to get right too.
Ellie?
One of my biggest things was actually when I came through here, I said to the nurses, I need you to teach me how to do this, and my partner is my lover, not my carer. It was a very strong line, and I was very determined to be as independent as I could to make sure that I maintained that relationship. We're 3.5 years down the track. We still haven't worked it out very well. We got told here, hey, you'll be like a teenager, you just play with it, it's awesome, you work it out. It's not that easy. It is still hard. We still don't really know how to connect. We kiss and touch, which is great, but a lot of it's quite tricky. It's a hard thing to learn. So, but yeah, that was my very distinguishing line that I to this day maintain, that I do as much personal things as I can, so he doesn't need to do that. Don't get me wrong, if something happens, we did have a code word Armageddon in our house when I got home. It's called I said to him, he's like, I'm getting out of here. And I'm like, I'm getting in there and I'll clean it up. So we definitely had that. But, he would grab me the things I need and go. So that was my big thing.
Great. Anyone else on that? What?
On intimacy with your partner, I think when I came through, I just thought that was it. Just it's not going to happen for me anymore. Sensation had altered so much, and it just all felt different. I had low self-esteem. I just wasn't who I used to be. So I think when I rediscovered that for myself, I went on my own journey, because I think it's so empowering if you can work out what feels good for you and work with someone. I follow a lot of people on Instagram who've been through this type of journey as well. So lots of different ideas and ways of doing things, but looping in with a professional as well, just to get ideas. Because if you can raise that in yourself, it really does empower you to reconnect on that intimate level with your loved one. And you think you're okay without it, and you're like, well, it is what it is. But when you get it back, it really is so special. So it took a while, but I've got there. And I think, if you are interested, come speak with me. I'm happy to talk more about it, or just look up some sexual professionals who can help. Yeah.
I think that's one of those topics that everyone wants to know about, but they won't ask specifically, all those questions. Wanted to sort of see, just meeting people when you go out, a lot of people lose confidence, I guess, going out to pubs. Can we call them discos? Are they still around? The pubs and all that sort of stuff. But just meeting, people, building relationships or even finding a partner. Has anyone got experiences, or they want to talk about, just going out and just having fun, I guess, and just seeing what happens? Anyone? No?
I'll just get a crap on, just no one else is talking.
Yeah.
A big part of this is finding what gives you joy, and following that. And I think it's, awkward for anyone to go out and try and find a date at a disco if you're not really into discoing. But, if you're into camping and you find someone's feet on your lap and so it's just about, I think working on yourself and finding what makes you tick and what you love, and connecting with people in a similar way. And so I've got a dating service app that I'm going to, I'm joking.
You got to promote? Yeah. But there's lots of possibilities out there, I guess, just want to let people know, you've got to, even if you haven't got self-confidence, test yourself, go out there, have a few drinks, and don't sit on a stool like Campbell done, but, go out and meet people, go, pubs, clubs, all that sort of stuff. Duke, you had another question?
Yeah, it was just the statement. I found that if you're going out, don't be reactive. If you're going out, plan ahead. Like, is there going to be steps? Is there going to be a toilet available? And if there isn't, then what do you do to be proactive rather than reactive? Because once you're there, that can destroy the whole outing. So ask ahead before you do anything. Okay, is there going to be accessibility for my chair to be part of the group or whatever it is? And it makes it so much better when you eventually get to that place that you know what you're expecting then, rather than, oh no, look at this, that, and all the rest of it. But I can't get to where my friends are, and even the booking, is there ability for me to get my wheelchair to where the table is? Or is the table suitable for someone like me in a wheelchair where I've got to sit back from it because it's so low that I can't get my knees underneath or something like that? So just ask ahead. Bang. Makes it so much worse well.
No, definitely worth it, A lot of people have got fear. They won't go out because, it's what if, maybe if it's not accessible. We've got 10 minutes, so we're going to start wrapping up slowly. But, the point is to do some research, ask questions of what's going to be accessible, where do people recommend. Don't have that fear, just do some research, try to find out what's going to be suitable, what's going to be accessible, and if it's not, ask questions about what is, just finding a place that people have gone and all that sort of stuff. We're going to start wrapping up. Just wondering if there's any other questions. If not, I'm going to go through the panel again, and just want to everyone to leave us with a take-home message, I guess. A recommendation or comment. Do you want to go first, Sean?
No.
No? We'll go to Campbell and we'll come back to you.
Mine would be just find something you love and just be around the people that do it.
That's good. Look, again, I think just recognising that this is a snapshot of adjustment, and finding the things that make you tick is the important stuff. And, I've been in the chair for 48 years, and the idea of my injury is just so foreign to me. So, if you pretend the spinal injury adjustment is something else, like, another shift of life, kind of it gives it another way to look at it. So maybe I'd encourage you to do that.
Yeah. And when you're ready, connect in with this amazing new community you're now a part of. It's the best thing ever.
Get out of your comfort zone a bit. Not a whole lot, but just get out of your comfort zone. Grow, adapt, look after your health, put a smile on your face and enjoy.
Yeah, I just look at it like the world's not made for wheelchairs. So, like Campbell and the others said, get amongst it, think about how you can do it, and find common people that like doing the same thing, and you'll be surprised what your mates will do or what your family will do. Like, I've been put in all sorts of bars in weird spots that shouldn't have been sitting, but someone drags you upstairs, and you have a bit of fun. So just, be adventurous. Think about what you can do, not what you can't do.
You just, Peter mentioned, get out of your comfort zone. I think that's really important, Give yourself a test or a bit of small goal every day. So, get around the neighbourhood, push around the block or something like that. Go to the nearest park, go to the shopping centre. Just little goals like that, just try to do more for yourself each day. And because when you do, believe me, it gives you motivation to try other things. So, something little will turn into a lot of bigger things as well. Jack?
Yeah, I reckon the main thing is, buddy, embrace this world you've been chucked into. I've met more amazing people than I ever met in the bloody world before that I ended up in a chair. Get around a big family we've been chucked into. They're amazing people. Buddy, make the best of it.
And that's it. And there is fear. Like, I have actually surprised myself at how brave you can be. Don't be afraid to try. And you have words, use them. Seek these people because they're an amazing community. You've got this. You're going to be okay.
Thanks, Ellie. So, just wanted to give everyone a heads up about what we've got later on. We've got a barbecue lunch in the therapy room there for everyone. So please go out and enjoy that. So it's on the run sheet as well. So you'll see we've got lunch from 12:30 to 1:30. After that, from 1:30 to 2:30, we're going to break up into little groups. So there's 4 groups, and on there you can sort of see what they are. There's going to be one group on fitness and exercise. I can see Lockie around the back there. He's actually managing our barbecue as well. Lockie, I hope you've done a good job because everyone's probably getting pretty hungry, maybe. So we're going to, hopefully get some nice sausages and chicken and salads and all that sort of stuff. So Lockie's going to facilitate that group there. We've got another group, carers and supports for daily living. The third group is carers and supports for social. And the fourth group is going to be general discussion as well. So, and after that, from 2:30 to 4 o'clock, we're going to have exhibitors here and in the car park, just myself. And yeah, in the car park, we're going to have some of those vehicles, including that Can-Am motorbike. Just want to make special mention to some of the exhibitors. We've got Independence Care here, so go and check them out. They help sponsor some of the cost for today. We've got accessible accommodation. On the back page, you can sort of see who they are. And Be Brawn, Coloplast as well. If you don't know what they do, go and ask them. So make sure you see what they're about. Independence Australia and Seiko as well. So yeah, there's no other final questions. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Put your hand up if you've got any other questions. If not, look, we're going to be around for the rest of the day, so please feel comfortable and ask us any questions about. There's a lot of topics that we weren't able to cover as well about travel, including airline travel and going overseas and all that sort of stuff. So, look, we're a wealth of information, so please feel comfortable, come and talk to us. If you don't get a chance, contact AQA or the Royal Talbot team, and yeah, we can point you in the right direction. But that's it for now. We're going to head out to the therapy room for some lunch. Just want everyone to thank the panel members here today because, yeah, hopefully you got a lot out of it. Thanks, guys, for giving your expertise out today. And so I'm not sure if you had anything to add.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to Naz for emceeing the panel, doing a great job as usual. And I think...
Oh, thank you.
As an upright, it's quite a privilege to work with this group of people, and I was just sitting there thinking there's a lot of lessons in life for us uprights as well. So I hope the upright community took away some great tips and tricks for getting the most out of life today. And I will mention the small groups will certainly also give you an opportunity to talk more about some of the things that came up, and Naz mentioned things like travel that maybe didn't come up today, but in the small groups there'll be an opportunity to talk to people. So we'll hopefully scatter our panel members through our small groups, and you can have a little bit more in-depth conversation with them. Thank you, Naz. Thank you, panel.
Thanks, Al. Thanks, everyone.